All new tonight and only on the WHAS11 night team. A group of people show up to the city council meeting in Clarksville tonight with concerns about a pet store inside the Green Tree Mall. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt. Only the night team was there as they showed up tonight. WHAS11 night team's Alex Dederer and photojournalist Levi Hammer also took their accusations to the CEO of Puppy Graham. He says they are all above board.
I really feel sorry for these pups.
Clarksville residents vocalizing to their elected council members their opposition to pet store Puppy Graham.
These aren't accusations. They are legitimate questions from a concerned community.
Puppy Graham opened its Clarksville location in Green Tree Mall on Black Friday of last year, after Indiana overturned a previous statewide pet store ban in March of 2024, months after the Louisville Metro Council voted to make it illegal for city pet stores to sell cats and dogs, closing the Louisville Puppy Graham location.
We didn't want to leave Louisville, but, they changed the law. And so we weren't run out of Louisville. We didn't get run out of Louisville.
Puppy Graham's CEO, Miles Handy, says the family-owned business is regulated by the Indiana Board of Animal Health.
Several observers noted puppies that were minimally responsive, sleeping throughout visits, not reacting to sound or movement, or appearing withdrawn.
They get rotated and played with, but they are puppies, so they do need their rest. And we make sure their well-being is the number one priority. And puppies in general sleep 18 to 20 hours a day, based on the American Kennel Club.
An online petition that has gained over 5,000 signatures is calling on Green Tree Mall to remove Puppy Graham from its facilities. The manager of Green Tree Mall and newly elected president of the town council, Bob McEwen, said in part, quote, "We are aware of recent public concerns and media reports regarding Puppy Graham and have referred the matter to the appropriate local and state authorities for investigation." Clarksville has an ordinance that sets regulations for pet shops, including fresh water, feeding, and cleaning regulations.
It's time, I think, to review the ordinance and to strengthen it, to provide some crucial things that are missing, including record keeping, including spelling out very clearly what the animal conditions are, what health conditions should look like, and also enforcement if things are not as they should be.
Jen Bug with the group Southern Indiana Welfare Watchdogs is pushing for more regulation.
We welcome animal control in. They're welcome to come.
A Clarksville council member confirmed animal control has been to the pet store, but did not say what their findings were. In Clarksville, Alex Dederer, the WHAS11 night team on your side.
Handy also told us tonight that Puppy Graham has never been charged with animal neglect at any of their locations. Well, in Louisville in September of 2023, the Metro Council did pass that ban on selling pets in stores here. This was after accusations against the same store, Puppy Graham, for selling sick animals. The legislation still permitted local breeders to operate, but requires them to follow new rules like regular feeding schedules and medical care. We have a brand new update for you tonight. Happening tonight, water service in West Louisville is back on and now restored after a water main break that was reported at about 2:30 this morning, 2:30 a.m. Now, the Louisville Water Company says they fixed the line at 7:30 tonight. The break happened in the area of 15th and Jefferson in the Russell neighborhood. Despite the fix, roads are expected to stay closed through the end of the week, so keep that in mind if you're in the area. This footage was taken by WHAS11 News earlier today as crews were working on the street. The pipe was 12 inches wide and dates back to 1934. Crews also discovered old trolley tracks and railroad lines in the massive hole, this going back to when Louisville was on a streetcar system in the early 20th century. Now to another story, brand new since 6. It's been 1 week since a large fire leveled a beloved chicken restaurant along the Ohio River right in southern Indiana. Tonight, the owner of Cluckers in Jeffersonville tells us he is going to rebuild. WHAS11 night team's Jose Alonso sat down with him. He says he was moved by the community's love for the neighborhood mainstay.
The charred remains of the popular restaurant on Riverside Drive, Cluckers, is fenced off to the public. Debris from last week's fire are still scattered across the street.
It meant a lot to a lot of people, and it would be a disservice for us not to bring it back.
Owner of the beloved chicken restaurant, Matt Murley, sat down with me at their New Albany, Indiana location. He says this catastrophic fire leaves him with one question.
The only unanswered one I'd have is why. Why has this happened?
His about 47 employees displaced by the fire are wondering the same thing, but are still hard at work.
We've had multiple employees go to some of the other locations that had openings and availability for them, and we're going to fit as many of them as we can. Other ones, I know they're looking locally, and the Jeffersonville community's had their arms open, ready to support.
What was once a noisy and vibrant spot has now fallen silent, and the smell of ash still lingers in the air. Hoosiers are still stomping in the middle of the street to take in the disbelief that Cluckers is gone.
I mean, look at the outreach. See the posts online, how much we meant to people, how much those people meant to us.
Murley is in constant communication with his insurance company and the fire officials who are investigating. At this moment, the cost and reason still aren't clear, but he's optimistic about the future.
Will Cluckers be back?
Cluckers will be back in Jeffersonville.
As the sun sets on this place that holds memories, there's hope for a return in the near future. In southern Indiana, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 Night Team, on your side.
Murley told us that he does want to clarify he owns the restaurant but not the property. But he's working with the owners to make that comeback. As to when that will happen, he says it's still really too early yet to make that decision. In February of 2023, another southern Indiana chicken restaurant, very popular, burned down in Clarksville. This well-known restaurant, called Roosters, caught on fire, seeming like a total loss. But then over a year later, the restaurant reopened in August of 2024. All right, happening tonight to the Tuesday night basketball action in downtown Louisville. The regular season is underway for the Louisville Cardinals with one of the best teams in the country tonight, the battle with the Blue Devils. Our sports director, Kent Spencer, covered the action. He was there for the entire game and is just back. And Kent, how big was that crowd there tonight?
Well, Doug, the crowd was great. Tons of energy. The stripe out worked. The KFC Yum Center was almost full. The Cards game plan coming in. Make sure you play 2 halves of basketball. It's bit them against the Blue Devils in the past. For a 5th straight game, no Michael Brown Jr. for the Cards, who's still dealing with a lower back injury. In the first half, Louisville came out on fire, scorching. 10 of 21 from 3. Ryan Conwell hit 4 triples. Ali Khalifa with 4 of his own. He was a perfect 4 of 4 from 3. And the Cards led by 9 at the break. They couldn't miss. In the second half, they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. 2 of 17 from 3. They couldn't stop Duke either. The Blue Devils lived in the paint. Cards outscored in the second half by 20. Louisville falls 84-73. Here's what Pat Kelsey had to say after the game.
Very, very disappointed with our performance in the second half. Defense, they shot 70% from the field. Everything was at the rim. We start fouling again. Weren't able to get out in transition because they were standing at the free throw line, or we were taking the ball out of the net.
Up next for the Cards, they're going to be at the KFC Yum Center on Saturday, hoping to avoid a 3-game losing streak, hosting Boston College. Much more on this one coming up a little later in sports. For the night team, I'm Ken Spencer.
All right, Kent, thank you so much. More top stories for you tonight at 11. Authorities say the killer behind the mass shooting at Brown University and then the murder of an MIT professor outside Boston recorded a final video confession just before he took his own life inside a storage unit. Federal investigators say Claudio Valente recorded several videos in his native Portuguese explaining how he planned his attack on a study group, killing 2 students and injuring 9 others. Quote, "I never wanted to do it in an auditorium. I wanted to do it in a regular room," he said, "and I had plenty of opportunities, especially this semester," end quote. While federal investigators say there's still a lack of a specific motive, sources tell ABC News the suspect revealed that he went to Brown because of a 20-year grudge against a university staff member. For the first time now, we are seeing the firsthand perspective of police and others who ran toward the flames after the UPS cargo jet crashed in Louisville and killed 15 people on November 4th.
I need you to get out. Let's go. Shut it down and get out. I just need you to get out for right now.
This body camera video showing a police officer running up to the driver of a waste management truck. And also right here, a view from the sky as huge flames rose over 100 feet in the air from the site. The police chopper right here revealing to emergency workers that day just how big the crash site had become and what truly had happened here, the true nightmare. Officer Jason Sadich, LMPD's chief helicopter pilot, was flying the chopper over the scene near the Muhammad Ali International Airport.
We circled underneath of it to try and get perspectives of all the way around the fire, search the perimeter for victims, and trying to get help to them. So, I mean, it was a little overwhelming.
He said the best thing pilots could do in that moment is to use their perspective to help the ambulances get in and the people trapped get out. From this look inside, as officers got another shelter-in-place notification on their cell phones while searching for victims. The final report from the NTSB is expected to come out nearly 1 year after the crash. You can get the latest on the UPS disaster by following us on the air right here, online, our mobile app, and our free streaming app available on smart TVs. Now, more on the story we reported exclusively at 6. On day 1 of the Kentucky legislative session in Frankfort, dividing up JCPS is once again being proposed by a Louisville lawmaker. Republican Jared Bauman of Louisville wants to break it up into at least 2 districts.
If it passes with a majority vote, it would go to the people to choose whether or not they wanted to adopt this new map, these new school districts in their area.
Now, he's describing the new catch with his proposal. The final decision will be up to the Louisville Metro Council and then your final vote. It would give the Louisville Metro Council the power to approve splitting JCPS into at least 2 districts with a simple majority vote. Then it would head to the voters. We contacted Metro Council members. They say they were not aware of this proposal. JCPS told us at this time we do not have any comment. Bring back the firing squad? Well, as Indiana's legislative session begins, one lawmaker filed a bill today proposing that a firing squad be used to execute Indiana criminals that are on death row.
There is no perfect execution method. There's problems with each and every one, and there's documented cases where the chemicals didn't work and the person was convulsing and foaming at the mouth. There's no way that we can do it and be 100% perfect. But we don't want to wait until we have an emergency and then say, oh my gosh, what do we do? We're not even in session. We can't even change the law.
As it stands right now, executions in Indiana are carried out solely through lethal injection. The last injection execution took place this past October. Still to come, Kentucky's Rand Paul says Donald Trump's decision to remove the president of Venezuela is by all definitions war. We'll have his words for you coming up next. Plus, President Trump now pressing Venezuela's interim president to meet certain demands before being allowed to pump oil.
And temperatures remain unseasonably mild this week with highs in the 50s and 60s, but we're also tracking some rain chances. I'll be timing those out coming up in our 7-day forecast. Here's a check of today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions, $180 million. Powerball, $105 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.